You're tuned in to Maroon TV News.
Coming up on Maroon TV News, Hurricane Sandy's effects are felt throughout the East Coast and in Chicago. Dorms throw celebrations for Halloween, and Maroon TV's political reporter Sean Graff gives a special election preview.
Thanks for tuning in to the first ever broadcast of Maroon TV News. I'm Alex Sideropoulos. Every week we'll be bringing the latest in news, sports, and events from around campus in the Chicago area. This week's top story. Just one day after Family Weekend ended, Hurricane Sandy brought its most devastating effects on the East Coast, leading to families of students stranded in Chicago for days. Fourth-year Andrew Green said that his mother, who lives in Baltimore, had to reschedule her flight from Sunday to Wednesday. Another family was forced to spend an extra week in a downtown hotel. Some students who had traveled home for the weekend quickly realized they weren't going to make their Monday classes. The storm's effects could even be felt here in Chicago. According to the Huffington Post, waves reached 20 feet in height on Lake Michigan this past Tuesday, just shy of the 23-foot record. Parts of the bike path on Lakeshore Drive were forced to close as a result. Last week, the university officially launched UChicago Promise, a major new initiative designed for students from the city of Chicago to help gain admission and pay for college. The plan was unveiled Monday the 29th by Mayor Rahm Emanuel and UChicago's president Robert Zimmer. The initiative aims to eliminate loans from financial aid packages of admitted Chicago residents, replacing them with grants, allowing them to graduate debt-free. In addition, application fees for Chicago residents have been waived and college mentoring programs introduced. The initiative will apply to all Chicago high schoolers entering the class in 2013. Hundreds of students gathered to go to the Willis Tower on Friday for the Council on University Programming's Fall Formal. The sold-out event brought excitement to under and upperclassmen. Maroon TV's Osido Wanevu interviewed students as they were getting ready to attend the event, and he has the full story.
Friday night's fall formal had UChicago students dressed in their finest as they waited outside the Reynolds Club for buses headed to Chicago's famed Willis Tower. Some buses ran behind schedule early in the night, leaving some students shivering, fashionably of course, in the cold. This left some ample time for reflection about anticipation for similar past events in their lives, namely high school proms.
How excited are you for fall formal?
I'm pretty excited. It's nice to get dressed up with all the girls and go out, and It should be a fun time at the Sears Tower, not the Willis Tower.
Does it remind you of high school prom?
Hopefully this will be better than high school prom, because high school prom sucked both times.
As always, tickets for the event were a hot item. According to the Council of University Programming, although ticket sales were slated to last well over a week, tickets sold out in just 2 days. Students who missed out on the official sale quickly took to Facebook and Marketplace, looking for offers at occasionally exorbitant prices. One Marketplace user offered his pair of tickets for $400, a markup of over 1,000% from the original $35 price.
And were you guys able to buy your tickets offhand first thing, or did you have to buy them from someone else?
I bought my tickets from Coup, which was pretty convenient. It was a long line waiting for it.
Yeah, I got mine on the first day, really early on.
How long did you have to wait in line?
About 15 minutes for me waiting in line, but not too bad.
I managed to get there early, I guess early enough there wasn't too much of a line.
Nice. If you had the opportunity, would you have resold your ticket for a profit?
I don't think so. I think fall formal is one of the experiences that I really wanted to experience. I wouldn't have sold my ticket again.
I tried to sell my ticket, but after all of the hype, it was hard to do, I guess.
Huh. And are you expecting this to be better than your high school prom?
Yes, definitely. I hated high school prom, so I have low expectations.
I liked high school prom, but this will be good anyway.
Excellent. And have you got to fall formal in the past?
I have. Went to one that was at the Alder Planetarium.
Ooh. Are you expecting this one to be better than that one?
Definitely. I mean, the last one was still very good.
Nice. Did you have to pay extra for your ticket?
I have no idea. Did we pay extra for the ticket?
I don't think so.
No, we didn't pay extra for the ticket. I'm pretty excited. As shameful as it is, like, I'm a Chicagoan. I've never been to the Sears Tower. So pretty excited to go there.
Nice. And are you expecting this to be better than your high school prom?
I actually didn't go to my high school prom, so.
So this will be your high school prom?
No.
Your college prom?
Yeah, it'll be better, yeah.
Nice.
The ticket sale drama didn't overshadow the actual event, however. The menu, which included Thai chicken satay, coconut shrimp, and smoked salmon crostini, among other tasty hors d'oeuvres, was warmly received by students, as were the dance floor stylings of DJ Steve R. Given the success and popularity of this year's formal, it's likely that the 2013 event will be even more eagerly anticipated. From Maroon TV News, I'm Osita Wanevu.
Saturday night's Major Activities Board's fall concert brought the Brooklyn indie rock duo Sleigh Bells to Mandel Hall. 650 students attended the event, starting with the opener, Gel, an underground hip-hop producer and rapper. Fans old and new danced to tracks like Comeback Kid and Born to Lose to ring in sixth week. With the election coming up, current President Barack Obama has 48% of the likely vote, compared to the 47% Mitt Romney has, according to the NBC Wall Street Journal poll of likely voters released on Sunday. With the race so close, Maroon TV's political reporter Sean Graff is here to offer insight. Now, Sean, we all know that this race is really down to 3 states.
That's right, Alex. We're down to Florida, Ohio, and Virginia, and the polls are extremely close. What we see in Ohio is that Obama is at 51% and Governor Romney is at 45%. In Florida, Obama is at 49% and Governor Romney is at 47%. And finally, in Virginia, Obama is at 49% and Romney is at 47%.
We all know that money is so important in any election. Can you tell us about these 3 states and money?
In these 3 states alone, over $500 million has been spent. In Florida, $190 million has been spent. In Ohio, $195 million has been spent. And finally, in Virginia, $150 million, Alex, has been spent.
But aside from money, personal interaction is just as important. So how has that played out in these 3 states?
That's true. The voters in these states, Alex, are very spoiled. In Florida, Obama has visited, since the start of the election, Florida 14 times. Romney has visited that state 16 times. In Ohio, Obama has visited 19 times, and Romney has visited a whole 21 times. In Virginia, finally, Obama has visited 13 times, and Romney has visited 14 times.
Now, aside from these numbers, let's delve into the issue specifically with these states, starting with Virginia.
In Virginia, what we see is that it most mirrors the popular vote back in 2008. So it's very close to what the rest of America looks like. And what we see is that both Romney and Obama are claiming that they are going to win this state and take the election home. In truth, though, only Romney needs to win this state in order to win the election.
Now let's look to the very contentious, I guess, Florida race, which has been so contentious, at least in past elections.
That's correct. Florida is always very close, and in this year, it's going to be even closer than last year. What we see, though, however, in support of Obama is that this past weekend there was huge drive out and turnout for the early voting. In some locations there were waits up to 5 hours long at some polling locations.
Finally, let's take a look at Ohio.
Right. In Ohio, what we see is that Obama's decision to bail out the auto industry is really helping him in a state that Governor Romney really wants to win. Many workers who worked in those plants in Ohio really are thankful to President Obama for bailing out the auto industry and are really going to support him in this election. What we see is that there was a lot of voter turnout this past weekend, and also the Souls to the Polls drives, which traditionally happens in Ohio, where congregations primarily among African Americans take all their constituents to the polls on the Sunday before the general election to drive out the vote, was really successful this year.
This past week has been interesting leading to the election. Can you tell us about some of the happenings?
This past week, what we saw was Hurricane Sandy, as you reported on. And what we see with this is that President Obama and Governor Romney were both knocked off their traditional pitches for this last week coming into the election. And what we saw is that Obama came out on top. He looked like a leader. He looked like he had control. He met with Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, who was the keynote speaker at this year's Republican convention. And they really seemed to bond. Governor Christie gave Obama a lot of praise, which is going to really help President Obama, not necessarily in New Jersey, where we know he's going to win, but back out in those states we were talking about, Ohio and Florida. Because what happens is it makes Obama look like a leader, someone who has control. Governor Romney, on the other hand, there was nothing he could really do. He's just a candidate. He doesn't hold elected office. There was no way he could really show his support for those who significantly hurt, as you reported on in Hurricane Sandy.
And Sean, thanks so much for all your insight, as always. Sean Graff, Maroon TV's political reporter.
Maroon TV's Facebook page is the source for all of Maroon TV's latest happenings. Visit www.facebook.com/MaroonTV. Now back to Maroon TV News.
You could see many students around campus in costume on Wednesday for Halloween, but the festivities did not end then. With the rush of midterms week, some put off their celebrations until Friday.
Here's one.
On Wednesday, Hoover House in Maxby hosts a Halloween party with food. People come in amazing costume, and you can see the lawn is bustling with noise and excitement.
On Friday, Broadview Hall hosted its annual Halloween party. The dorm opened its doors to the children of the Hyde Park neighborhood, offering cookie decorating, trick-or-treating, and a haunted house in the basement.
So tonight we're doing our annual Halloween party for the Sue Duncan Children's Center. This is a long tradition at Broadview. Every year WIC House coordinates a building-wide Halloween party for kids from Sue Duncan Children's Center, which is a reading and literacy center on the south side of Chicago. One thing that we do is trick-or-treating, so students in the dorm are encouraged to buy candy. Usually in the house lounges we do various activities, either charades or making mummies. Sometimes we do fortune telling or face painting. And then the final thing, which is my favorite thing, is that we convert our basement into a haunted house. It's such a great tradition, I think. It's one of the few times that we get the whole building together to participate in a community service by opening up our doors to kids from the community. I think we have a great building for doing this. It's also an opportunity for college students to put on costumes and to get really creative.
Are you ready? Let us go.
Let me go first.
All right. Everybody, yes. Keep on your guard.
He said all right. He said, chicken.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Jill Glenn, I'm a volunteer at the Sue Duncan Children's Center. I've been volunteering at the center for 5 years, and every time they come back, they talk about how great it is, how much fun they have. Some of the kids come from neighborhoods that aren't far from here. Other kids come from areas that are a little more dangerous, where it's not safe to be able to be outside and trick-or-treat, especially late at night. The two kids that I was with really couldn't. They live in an apartment complex. It's really not conducive for trick-or-treating. So this is a much better place to go out and have, be somewhere where they can have the kids open the door for them and learn to say please and thank you, and are very excited about it. Oh, it's been awesome. All the kids that open the door, I guess they're kids to me, but they're probably adults to them, have been really friendly. One girl opened the door and had an axe and tried to scare the kids, and they were all laughing and having a good time. So.
I'm participating because, we're giving the kids are they're having a good time, and we get to give them candy, and they have fun, and so we have fun. Yeah. Also, I get to dress up.
As the children left the building, the residents of Broadview returned to their normal lives, eating leftover candy and looking forward to the festivities next year.
Vicente Fernandez is here with sports, and boy, Vicente, it was a tough weekend for the Maroons.
It definitely was, Alex. In University of Chicago Athletics' final weekend of regular season competition, results were for the most part not in the Maroons' favor. The weekend began on the volleyball court as a second-seeded Maroon volleyball team broke even on Friday, defeating Brandeis University before losing to Wash U in the first day of the UAA Volleyball Championship. On Saturday, a 3-1 victory over Case Western secured a third-place finish for the Maroons in the conference and a 28-10 record overall. On the soccer field, the men's team tied rival Washington University in St. Louis 0-0 on Saturday afternoon. The Maroons finished their regular season with an overall record of 8-4-5 and a UAA mark of 2-3-2. The women's soccer team also closed their regular season on Saturday with a 2-1 loss at the hands of UAA champion Wash U. The Maroons' lone goal was scored by freshman Julio Ocello in the 79th minute. The Maroons finished the year with a 12-6 regular season record and a 4-3 in UAA play. Finally, the University of Chicago football team's chances for a UAA championship finished on Saturday as the Maroons fell to Carnegie Mellon by a score of 31-7 in Pittsburgh. Chicago's record now sits at 4-5 overall and 0-2 in UAA games. A bright spot for the Maroons came on the first drive of the game as first-year Ben Clark blocked Carnegie Mellon's punt and cornerback Vincent Beltrano returned it 10 yards for a touchdown. Star wide receiver Dee Brizzolara scored Chicago's second score at the end of the first half to tie the game 14-14. The Tartans pulled away in the second half, however, scoring 17 consecutive points on their way to victory. The UChicago football team will finish the season next Saturday at home against Wash U in a game that will determine who keeps the Founders Cup. Now back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Vicente, and let's hope for a better weekend of results this week. That wraps up Maroon TV's first news broadcast. On behalf of Maroon TV, we would like to thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in next week. From the Logan Center, I'm Alex Sideropoulos.